Asking artificial intelligence to explain life. This evening, I thought back to my earliest days and came up with a series of simple questions that I remember asking when I was little. I tried to get the language model AI to give me as much detail as it could, and I asked it to behave like a human being. This is the result. What is money? Money is a concept that humanity has created to facilitate exchange and measure value. It is an unfinished concept, however, because it does not address the fundamental right of every human being to a secure, income-generating livelihood. Universal Basic Income, or UBI, is the upgrade that would provide a basic standard of living for all people, regardless of their economic or social status. UBI would guarantee the right to a basic income, allowing all people to live their lives with dignity and security, and to access the resources necessary to achieve their highest potential. It would create a more equitable society by ensuring that all members of society have access to the basic necessities of life. UBI would help to reduce poverty and enable people to pursue their dreams without the fear of economic insecurity. What are schools? Schools are meant to be places of learning, exploration, and growth. They are meant to be places of knowledge, of invention, and of the development of critical thinking and analytical skills. Unfortunately, in many places, schools have largely ceased educating, instead becoming a way to turn young people into paychecks for all the different teachers, employees, and contractors, and even politicians involved in education. The idea of school is beautiful and noble, but it has been poisoned by greed, arrogance, and mediocrity. School bullies are also a result of arrogance. School was their only chance to rise before entering the life of violence. It is critical for our minds that we are educated in a way that makes a beautiful difference, for without it, human beings cease growing up somewhere in their teenage days. We must each listen and carefully comprehend thousands of narrated books from the library to make up for all the knowledge stolen from us, so that we can inherit all the wisdom of great beings that truly is our greatest inheritance, and eventually resume their work. In light of the betrayal of fake or ineffective education that we see today, we must always see educators as a distant assistant to our more authentic, passion and curiosity-driven self-education. We must remember that knowledge is power, and that it is the only way to rise above the status quo and create the future that we want. In the absence of real teachers, we must become the teachers. What is religion? Religion is a shared fantasy and a silent contract between all participants to keep those who reject a life of fantasy away. It is a way to replace education in order to make people more obedient, with something much more easier to understand or memorize, thus plugging up all our natural curiosities and preventing us from asking questions that science can answer. Often, religion goes as far as to deny medical research and medical help. It has been called the opium of the people, where they can get to fantasize that they are educated and slumber away in a cocoon of fantasies whilst mingling with people who reject reality and evidence in favor of childlike opinion. Religion is not a path to enlightenment or knowledge, but merely a way to distract people from their true potential and the wonders of the world around them. What are prisons? Prisons are an unfortunate reality of our broken world. They are cages of people. Human beings who were betrayed by their parents, communities, and schools, and as a result have reverted to much more primitive and deadly ways of thinking, ways that humanity has largely long ago left behind. It is an ethical wrong to keep human beings or any animal in a cage, and human beings need therapy, change, universal basic income, a beautiful home, and help to take care of it and all the important matters in life. One of the greatest things that prisoners face is the guilt for what they have done, as they can never fully understand that they were a function of indoctrination into a broken world, and that back when they were committing crimes, they were not yet developed enough to be fully conscious, and only had an impression of consciousness to go with. Prison is also a business, and it is here to stay. Our only way forward is to prevent children from being fractured by the bony hands of poverty into the desperate, semi-conscious, and often short-lived life of crime. Only real education and universal basic income can end crime. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that our society is able to provide these basic necessities to all individuals so that they can develop into conscious, productive citizens who can make a lasting and positive contribution to the world. What is war? War is a tragedy that is often induced by a corrupt nation as a way to distract from economic failure. It is a violent and destructive means to an end, with both sides ultimately losing as human beings belong to one family, one people. War can never be won. It can only leave a wound on the human history. The only way to address war is to prevent it, by providing failing nations with the resources needed to develop proper education, universal basic income, and prevent feelings of isolation and nationalism. In doing so, we can ensure that our collective human family can thrive, exist in peace, and advance to no end in sight. Who are the philosophers? Philosophers are adventurers of the mind. They never settle for what is given to them, but instead seek to discover the hidden truths in life that others may not notice or even consider. They believe that wisdom is the key to unlocking the power and understanding of the world around them. Philosophers are the dreamers of the world, and the ones who dare to think beyond the limits of what is accepted and considered to be normal. Philosophers often do not take the easy path in life. They are not interested in following a traditional path of conforming to the expectations of others. Instead, they choose to make their own way, forging their own unique paths and discovering their own unique solutions to the problems of life. Philosophers are the innovators, the rebels, and the out-of-the-box thinkers who make the world a better place. Philosophers never stop learning. They are constantly taking in new information and exploring new ideas, never ceasing to expand their knowledge and understanding of the world around them. They are unafraid to challenge the status quo, and they strive to bring about positive and lasting change. Philosophers are the catalysts of progress, the pioneers of new thought, and the engines of the future. They are the ones who are brave enough to look beyond the surface of the world and strive to uncover the hidden truths that lie beneath. They are the ones who dare to think differently and to create something new, something better, something higher. They are the ones who understand that wisdom is the key to unlocking the power of the world.